On 1981, August 2nd, a Hong Kong cargo ship named Primrose was sailing in the Bay of Bengal. Suddenly, the ship hit a rock. At that moment, the captain tried to turn the ship. But no matter how hard the captain tried, the ship did not turn even an inch. The captain realized it only after hours that their ship was stuck between two rocks. They realized that there was nothing they could do, so they sent a message to the shore. But due to some technical difficulties, the sailors could not reach there immediately from the shore. The captain was informed that people would arrive from the shore in a few days. By morning, the sea was calm. So when the sailors came out of the ship, they noticed that here was an island some distance from where the ship was located. They could not see any sign of human habitation there, but they could clearly see the dense forest on the island. That is why they understood that it was an uninhabited island. Later, the sailors started to go there, but the captain did not agree. The captain's order was to stay on the ship. That day, they moved very slowly. The next day, it continued like that. But on the third day, things were not like that. When the sailors came out of the ship, what they saw was shocking. There was a group of people standing on that island. But what they found even more strange was something else. Most of them were all naked. Each of them had ancient weapons like arrows and bows in their hands. They tried to attack the sailors with their weapons. But since the ship was some distance from the shore, none of their attacks affected the sailors. After some time, they went out to sea and started making something with some pieces of wood. Although they did not understand what it was at first, as the construction progressed, they realized that it was a small boat. Immediately, the captain gave the order. Everyone, take whatever weapon you can from the ship. Keep them as far away as possible. Their target is us. So the sailors took axes and pipes from the ship. The captain also used the flare gun. The people on the island retreated due to the sound of the flare gun and the other weapons in the hands of the sailors. But in the following days, their attacks were repeated. But the people on the island were not able to come near the ship even once. So after a week, a helicopter arrived to rescue the sailors. That day, the sailors escaped from there. In fact, they were very lucky, because they escaped from the strangest island on Earth. North Sentinel Island is an island in the Andaman Nicobar archipelago, which is part of India, located in the Bay of Bengal. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary island, but things are a little different. The peoples who lives there are the only tribe in this world that has not come into contact with the outside world. Although the outside world has made many attempts to contact them, the group has violently rejected every attempt. They are the most isolated human community in the world. They have existed like this for more than 50,000 years. A community that has not known the evolution and progress of humanity. They do not know that we can fly. They do not know that there are millions of people like them on this planet, of different colors, sizes, and shapes. They do not know that this is a planet. What's more, on a moonlit night, they lie gazing at the moon, unaware that some of their own species have set foot there. We call the people living on that island the Sentinelese. Homo sapiens migrated from Africa to many parts of the world about 50,000 years ago. The information we have received from studies is that the Sentinelese also arrived in the Andaman Islands around the same time. We still do not understand their language. We have tried to understand it many times. In the 19th century, the British government made an attempt to do this. They arrived in the Andaman Islands and brought together the tribes of other islands that were there at that time. Then, using them, they tried to establish a dialogue with the Sentinelese. But that attempt failed. The Sentinelese language had no connection with the other tribes in the Andaman Islands. There was not even a single word in common. They could not understand anything the Sentinelese said. This incident made them realize that their language has no connection with the languages of today on Earth. We still do not have much information about the Sentinelese. This is because no one who has entered the island has ever returned to the outside world alive. They resist those who come from the outside world by attacking them. Historians also give a small reason for this. In 1888, anthropologist M.V. Portman decided to study the North Sentinel Island. But when he arrived on the island, he kidnapped 4 children and 2 elderly people from there. He did this cruel act to study the characteristics of their bodies. But within a few days of reaching the shore, the elderly people died. The main reason for their death was their immune system. Having been on the island for 1,000 years, their bodies did not have the ability to fight other viruses and bacteria on Earth. When things were getting out of hand, he brought the remaining children back to the island. Later, those children may have spread diseases to other children there, or they may have died. Perhaps that incident made the Sentinelese aware of people from the outside world. That story may have been passed down for generations. Perhaps this incident is the main reason why they keep us away. But this is also our assumption. We do not have any clear evidence that this is the reason. After the British government left India, the Indian government decided to communicate with them. Since 1967, many researchers and scientists have set out to establish friendship with the Sentinelese. But all the missions sent by India for this purpose were unsuccessful, except for one. In 1967, anthropologist T.N. Pandit and a group of researchers returned to the island. Initially, they hid from their visitors in the jungle, but later on, they started attacking them with weapons. But T.N. Pandit did not back down from his mission. So Pandit and his team arrived there with some gifts. Pandit and his team tried to establish a relationship with the tribe by giving them coconuts, plastic buckets, and cloth as gifts. They did not need the plastic buckets and cloth, but they did need coconuts, which did not grow on the island. They repeated the gifts. Thus, after 25 years of effort, they got along with Pandit and his team, but the Sentinelese forbade them from staying there for too long. Although the Sentinelese Pandit and his team got along, we still don't know what's inside the island. Although satellites have tried to take pictures, nothing was clear due to the dense jungle on the island. How they live there, what their culture is like, what their diet is like, etc., are still a mystery. Studies say that they have been there for 50,000 years. Therefore, we don't know what the living things are like there. Maybe there are living things that we don't see here. Maybe the ancestors of the living things around us today may also be there. In 1997, the North Sentinel missions were abandoned by the Indian government. Not only that, but also tourists were banned from visiting the island. It is now a criminal offense to go within 5 kilometers of the island or try to have any contact with the inhabitants. The main reason is their protection. Their bodies cannot support all the microbes in our bodies. Sometimes a small disease from our bodies can wipe out that island. But the Sentinelese have repeatedly attacked approaching vessels, whether the boats were intentionally visiting the island or simply ran aground on the surrounding coral reef. The islanders have been observed shooting arrows at boats, as well as at low-flying helicopters. Such attacks have resulted in injury and death. In 2006, islanders killed 2 fishermen whose boat had drifted ashore, and in 2018, an American Christian missionary, 26-year-old John Chow, was killed after he illegally attempted to make contact with the islanders 3 separate times and paid local fishermen to transport him to the island. In March 2025, a U.S. citizen who is also a YouTuber named Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov made an unauthorized landing on the island. He illegally left behind Diet Coke and coconuts, collected sand samples, and recorded a video before returning. He was subsequently arrested by the Indian Police Service with a view to prosecution. Following his arrest, he referred to himself as a thrill seeker. This series of events serves as a powerful reminder that respecting the autonomy and isolation of the Sentinelese is not just a matter of law, but of humanity, and that some mysteries of our world are best left untouched.